That's
There it
pretty
is.
funny. Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
Good morning. It's Taco Tuesday. It's Tuesday anyway, and that means it's Taco Tuesday. Welcome. I'm Brandon. Some of you guys might not know me yet. I'm Brandon Glass. I'm a personal trainer and a coach and a physical therapist assistant, fitness nutrition specialist. We get together every Tuesday, Nick and I. We go live, talk about fitness and food and all kinds of other stuff. I'll let Nick introduce himself. I'll let you introduce yourself, Nick.
So I actually just figured out why I don't like to do this part. Have you ever written a cover letter? You know, it's really awkward to write about yourself, right?
100%.
So that's why I always undermine this part of it. I'm like, no, throw it away. But anyway, so I'm going to do it today. So I'm Nick. I am a nutritionist, also a personal trainer, a restorative movement specialist. And I have also got a huge passion for how the brain works and functions on a day-to-day basis, as well as psychology. So going back and going forward in the way that our brain works. So I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we're talking about, does beauty sleep exist? Right. We all know that, it's kind of a basic function, right? But I'm going to be totally straightforward with you. As somebody who has struggled with chronic bad sleep hygiene, I don't know if I'm using the correct terms, but I have never been a good sleeper until a few years ago. But I didn't know what it was like to have a good night's sleep. I didn't know. And when I finally figured out how to, shut my damn brain off before bed, or if I woke up in the middle of the night, I couldn't go back to sleep. And that is so incredibly frustrating. But like I said, yeah. I didn't know what it was like to have a good night's sleep. So when I finally achieved that, I could not believe the clarity that I had.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it was very eye-opening.
Totally. I had a similar experience.
Yeah. So when I finally figured out how to do all that stuff, it's a total game changer. It was literally a life changer because it opened my eyes so much. I was like, this is what other people feel like when they sleep well. That's amazing. It wasn't just for my mental clarity, right? It was, physically and even spiritually as well. I had more energy. I had kind of a deeper thought process about everything that was happening. I actually lost a little bit of, body fat because I had more energy. My metabolism boosted, and we're going to get into all this and why this happened. Right. But a big part of the reason is I've made better choices. Because because I had energy, I was able to say, well, rather than taking the easiest way out, I'm going to do something a little bit different.
Totally.
So
yeah, I have a similar
story on bad sleep.
I have a pretty similar experience. So, I mean, I've been pretty open here, I think, about, I've been in recovery for a pretty long time. And when I quit drinking, I totally thought my days of hangovers were over. I'm never going to have a hangover again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And, obviously I haven't, woke up parked on the neighbor's lawn or anything like that, and, throwing up. But
sounds like a story for another day.
but I figured out that it wasn't necessarily just the alcohol that was making me feel hungover. It was losing sleep. That brain fog, right? Yeah. Zero energy, zero willpower, right? That all came from not having enough sleep. So I would still, I still kind of had this poor sleep hygiene a lot of the time. And I'm still a musician, so I still have some really late nights and then early mornings because I'm also a business owner. A bad combination. And so, yeah, I'd wake up and just be like, oh my God, I literally felt hungover. And so it turned out, it's not so much the alcohol that was making me feel like I wanted to, wake up and crawl into a bowl of mac and cheese. It was the sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I wonder if other people have noticed in the group, if this is something that other people have noticed, like that waking up and having that kind of semi hungover feeling, or the other symptoms, like maybe it's a little bit more low key, like that brain fog, or just like kind of general low energy, that feeling of like just dragging ass, like at work, like, oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. I do not miss that at all. So if you have that experience, I want to hear about it.
Yeah. Or like to tack onto that, have you ever just wanted to crawl inside of a bowl of mac and cheese? Is that something you struggle with though? Seriously, like, like if you're tired and you're like, this is my body wants this is what I want, it's going to make me feel better. Yeah. I have a feeling that's kind of what you meant by that, right? So
yeah, totally.
Is that, anybody who's watching now or later, have you been there? Have you had any of those symptoms plus that?
Yeah.
Just lethargic, drawn out feeling.
I'm sure. But yeah, sometimes we just don't realize it, right?
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. It's the last thing that we suspect, really, truthfully, if you think about it. Because if you're used to running on very little sleep, it's the last thing that you would think about. But that might in fact be the case, right? Yeah. So tell me some of these things. What does the science show about poor sleep? Like the hygiene you and I know, but what is the real, like, the fact of the matter is?
So I think one of the most important things here are two big things that the science shows, right? Like decreased activity in the frontal lobe is a direct effect of not getting enough sleep. So your frontal lobe, right, is like your impulse control center, right? Your decision making center, right? That's that's where we're making like those decisions at the table or wherever, right? So we're prone to impulsivity and making poor decisions.
So give me an example.
I'm anything. So, you're at a birthday party and the cupcakes show up and you're like, I know that's not going to like make me happy, but you're tired and your frontal lobe is working at a diminished level. And so it's just like way more prone to be like, screw it.
So this kind of has to do with a level of willpower, right? So
yeah.
that's that self-control, that piece, that impulse decision, like that has to do with, do I need this? No. Do I want it? Yep, I'm going to have it.
Yeah, totally.
Because my brain, my body, everybody needs something right now. And this might not be what it really needs, but this is what I want right now.
Yeah, we're not even going to think that far, right?
Yeah.
We're not even going to.
Yeah, that's probably
like it's really just going to be like yes or no.
And then you catch yourself like 3/4 of the way into this thing, and it's like, crap, I don't need this.
yeah, totally. Like somebody mentioned that to us the other day, right? They're like, it's been a long day. They hadn't slept well, or and they were like, and before I knew it, like the muffin was gone. Like I just like picked up this thing, I hadn't even thought about it, right? So that's the other thing that I want to like bring up is that so while it decreases your frontal lobe activity, it activates the reward center, the limbic system of the brain. So this is the part of the like craving, the feel good part of the brain, like I know I like that. So so the limbic system starts saying, this reward center starts saying, hey, we're tired, we feel like shit, right? Give us something that feels good.
Yeah.
Now,
and then when you give it to
right
me,
now,
I'm gonna make you feel good, and it sends all these endorphins out in the world.
We know it feels good. right?
only
The
for,
limbic system's
this
totally
long.
the drug dealer.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I know what'll make you feel good. I know
That's funny.
somebody, right? So yeah, and it usually means food, right? But it's the same thing, right? It's the exact same thing as addiction. This is where addiction lives. So yeah, it's gonna point you to the most immediate gratification. Doesn't care about 10 minutes, 30 minutes, tomorrow, let alone tomorrow, right? Your limbic system is like, now, give it to us now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm really craving a cupcake right now, by the way.
What's that?
I said I'm really craving a cupcake
your
right now.
cupcake. Well, I hope you got your sleep. Your brain really does remember the last thing, the last donut you ate, right? All that sugar lights up your limbic system, and it remembers that, right? So studies have also shown that people who are lacking sleep eat larger portions. This is part of the limbic system thing as well. So your reward system doesn't have a shutdown switch once it's super activated, right? You can be totally full,
kind of a sensation.
Right. You can be totally full and your body's like, do it, eat more. This feels good.
Dude, that's something I struggle with. I always have, and I have to. It takes me a lot of control to really like keep that in check. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So to kind of put these two things together, right? You have now increased impulses, right? Cravings because of the frontal lobe, right? And I'm sorry, because of the limbic system, I've got it backwards. Increase impulses and cravings, right? Because of the limbic system, because of the activated reward system, and now lowered impulse control and willpower.
Lower willpower, yeah, okay.
And decision-making abilities.
So cravings are boomed, and willpower is dropped. So we are way out of balance now. And as soon as that one thing's there, it's just like, shove it.
Right. Now try saying no to the bowl of mac and cheese, right? Right. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on, and that's been pretty well studied and documented at this point.
Yeah,
but it's powerful.
So, yeah, definitely. And it's just powerful, even just understanding that part of it, just knowing that is going to happen if I don't get enough sleep.
Right. And we totally underestimate it, right? Totally undervalue it. I think that's why it's
100%. I would definitely agree with that. So, again, I have questions for everybody who's listening.
Totally.
How many times? So I'm trying to just relate it to that specific topic. How many times have you thought to yourself, no, I don't need that? I actually have a specific memory of this when I used to work as a chef, and I used to make all these desserts. Most of them were low or no sugar, but from time to time I would make heavy sugar ones. And I actually have this memory of this, and I was thinking, no, I don't need that. And 15 minutes later, I was eating this. So now I'm wondering, has anybody else been out there that when you're thinking, no, I don't need that. I don't need that item. I don't need to crawl into that bowl of mac and cheese. I don't need that extra brownie at work. But eventually your willpower runs out and you do it anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
You end up having that donut. You end up having that late night, like leftover pasta.
Oh God, dude. Yeah. So is that your question? Like, is that what you want to know? Like how many people have had that thought, like, no, I don't need that, but there we are. Like,
yeah. And then all of a sudden it's happening. Yeah. That is my question. So yeah, anybody out there, have you experienced that?
Okay.
Yeah. So I see Amanda.
Amanda speaks up. Yeah, totally. Hi, Amanda. By the way, thanks for being here. Yep.
Yeah. You got to chat with her in a bit, I think, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I just saw that on the calendar. So yeah, Amanda can relate for sure. Like that's been me. And oh my God, I mean, this is a classic scenario. Like I can think of a million times I've got off stage. I'm all like amped up, and now it's like 2 a.m, and I'm like, I know I just need to go to bed, but instead I'm going to stop off at Fat Slice and grab a slice because it's 2 doors down from the venue that I played at. Right.
My biggest weakness is cereal and PB&Js, and I know I've said that a lot of times, but it's because
yeah, those can be big ones for me. I don't even keep cereal in my house because that's deadly shit. All right. So, I want to talk about sleep and metabolism a little bit as well.
Yeah, because that's a factor that is huge when it comes to getting enough sleep or not getting enough sleep. What happens, right?
Right.
So truthfully, there's a ton of things that we can kind of drop into this category, right? But why don't you just give us a nice simple rundown?
Quick rundown. So too little sleep we know causes cortisol spikes. So we addressed like a behavioral part of it, like a psychological part of it, but this is really what actually happens as well in the body. So this is a hormonal thing. So cortisol spikes, and this causes the body to store energy. And so when I mean store, and when I say store energy, I mean store fat, like your body. So that's how your body stores energy, right? So too little sleep also decreases insulin sensitivity. So the body doesn't process fat in the bloodstream as well. It takes that fat and stores it as fat.
So this one's kind of like a double whammy, right?
Totally.
So not only do you have less energy available, right? So our metabolism's slowing down, and so things are not being burned away.
Right.
So then also we're having a decrease in. I think I'm messing something up, but so when it comes to hormones, like I know cortisol increases, right, which helps us to create fat, and then we have this drop in insulin,
right,
which helps us to fight and burn fat. So if we're, again, it goes back to that what I was doing with my hands earlier. We're completely out of whack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did I summarize that?
Yeah, pretty well, right? That's pretty much it. So cortisol is a stress hormone.
We're making fat and we're not fighting fat.
Right. Okay. You're making fat and you're not burning fat. So you're converting energy like carbs. So let's put it this way, like the carbs that you're eating, instead of like burning those things off with a normal metabolism, right? Your body is like, no, we don't know what's going on. We're stressing out. Yeah. Right. Kind of put your body into like emergency mode. And when your body goes into that mode, it starts to take those carbs and store them away for later because it doesn't know what's going to happen. Right. As fat, it converts them into fat and stores them for later.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're converting carbs into fat that should be used for energy and movement and so on before they get stored.
Functions.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing, and then the other thing it does is it doesn't, because of the decreased insulin sensitivity, your body is not using the fat that you're eating as well. That's in the bloodstream already. It's taking it and just putting it into storage as well. So everything's going into storage.
We don't want it to be, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So it sounds like this is something that everybody should prioritize, right? And I think that was our question the other day. Do you prioritize sleep? This is something that should be prioritized. And I know a lot of people do. And I saw some answers on there.
Yeah, we saw great answers.
Yes, I do prioritize sleep. But I know for a fact some of those people do not get enough sleep because I've spoken with them. And even though you might be prioritizing it, there are things that you can do to kind of level up sleep, so to speak.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You want to get into some of those things? Because that was a big problem for me. I was there as well. Like I knew, and I think I kind of posted this in response to that question, because for a long time, like I knew sleep was important and I knew I felt better when I slept, but I didn't really I still didn't prioritize it. I still didn't actually really practice it. Like I'd get some good sleep here and there, but I was still like burning the candle at both ends and hustling, and I had to be on the grind. Right.
Yeah.
And so
same.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that, sleep is such an investment in terms of your productivity.
Right. Yeah. And it doesn't, when you say such an investment, that makes it sound like it's a lot of work, but it doesn't have to be a lot of work.
No, it's so simple. I mean, it's really so easy. And that's kind of one of the things, right? So I'd like to get into like a few of the kind of details that people probably want to know, like how much sleep should you get for sure. I think we've all been told like 8 hours our whole life. Research, the studies show that anything over 7 hours generally is good, and it's different from person to person.
Definitely. So obviously, I'm going to butt in here, and just because I've had a head injury and I understand like some of the psychological like things that happen there, and even some of the physical things that happen in the brain.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of times people with a head injury, even if you don't know that you've had a head injury, you might have had one. And so your body, your brain might take a little bit more time to either get into the proper recovery, which happens during sleep. So sometimes it takes, a lot of my clients that I've worked with head injuries, 9, 10, 11 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And so that I'm just going on, I'm tacking this onto what you just said is like, it varies for everybody.
Certainly it does. But I think one of the big things that happens to people is they have this specific number in their head, right? They're like, I didn't get 9 hours, right? That's what I've been hearing a lot lately. 9 hours, like more sleep is better.
Depends.
It does. It depends. And it's definitely, it can be like, this can be turn into a real cycle. You're stressing on not getting enough sleep. That stress is making you not get enough sleep as well. It turns into this real kind of nasty cycle that people get stuck in. And then it's like your sleep is off, and then you sleep in later. You can't get to sleep on time now. It gets really thrown off. And sometimes you really have to force yourself to, get up earlier and go to bed earlier. And it can be very painful to break that. It's really, really torturous. So not stressing on sleep is a big part of that, because it's just, it's kind of like our diet and our eating habits. Like you can't beat yourself up over a day. It's going to be up and down, right? You're going to have those days like, damn, I did not get enough sleep. And it's okay. You just get back on track rather than like,
rather than dreading the next day. So like, I know from experience, like it's tough, especially like, man, I can't fall asleep. I don't know why, but I can't fall asleep.
Totally.
Or waking up 3 hours after you went to bed and you're just awake.
Yeah,
that is tough. And then I wish I could just go back to sleep. And it becomes this stressful pattern of eventually you're not sleeping because you're wishing that you could go back to sleep over and over.
Yeah.
Right. Or
that
thoughts thinking about things that you have to do tomorrow. And then you start thinking, God, I'm not going to have enough energy. I'm going to be so tired. I'm not going to sleep. And then so you're stressing out about that sleep.
On that.
I totally understand what you're saying in here.
Yeah. It is very hard to shut that off, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard to shut that off. And there are some things that you can do as well to help with that. I mean, I know it's kind of cliche, but meditation, any sort of distraction. For me, like picking up a book, if it's the middle of the night and I wake up and that thought gets into my head, like, oh God, I should be sleeping. Tomorrow's going to suck, blah, blah, blah. Like the moment it's in my head, I turn over, I grab a book and I just start reading because I need to get my mind on something else. And man, a book does it every time. That's just kind of my thing.
Yeah. I think that's powerful because it brings it in, it dials it to one thing. You're focused on one thing rather than 10,000 things. Yes, exactly.
So, other things, because we're getting a little bit long here, movement, right? So what you do during the day really affects your sleep, and your body wants to expend energy. Remember, if you're storing a bunch of energy throughout the day because you're consuming energy and not necessarily using it, then your body is going to get to, that time of the night and be like, we've got all this energy. You gave us all this energy. What's up?
Yeah.
You know, that's me. I'm like sitting in bed, just like vibrating, right? Because
Yeah. And so what does your body do with that energy? It goes back to that previous topic we just had. Packs
right.
it. Packs
Yeah.
it away. We tack on fat.
Yeah, exactly. Because now the body's like, now you're stressing out because you're not getting your sleep, because not just because you're not actually getting the sleep, but you're stressing on not getting the sleep. You're psychologically.
Has anybody seen that cycle? So you have too much energy, you start to stress. There's the increase in cortisol. You can't sleep. There's the decreasing insulin.
Yeah, insulin.
Where's that going to go? It's got to
Right.
go somewhere.
Right. So it's very, very important. Get that movement. Get that movement. Not right before bed if you can help it, by the way, like a few hours before bed. It's kind of like eating. You should be done eating and moving, you know, within before 3 hours of going to bed generally. Don't work in the bedroom. So that's a huge one. Don't work in the bedroom. You know, those of us who are on our phones, you know, kind of finishing up work or on the laptop. Okay, your bedroom is for sleep and fun. But
bedroom activities only.
Yeah, yeah. Really, do not bring work to your
There's
bed.
a lot of science behind this. We're being funny, but there is a lot of science behind this. That
Yeah,
your
there really
bedroom needs to stay for those specific bedroom activities.
Right. And I think this kind of ties into also the next point is establishing routines and rituals around bedtime and around sleep that cue your body and tell your body it's time to wind down.
Yeah.
Right.
That wind down time is very important.
Huge.
And I know, like, historically, you know, the sun sets and that's when our bodies started to wind down. But now we have all these artificial lights and we have all these things to do and we have, you know, social life and we have etc.
Yeah. Yeah. All these stimulations.
Yeah.
Right?
So it is important
to stay up.
Yeah, to develop these, like what you just said, the rituals and make them part of a routine.
Yeah, yeah. For me, like I start doing that like right around 8 o'clock. I'm like making my tea. I'm sitting down. You know, I'm shutting the computer off, and sometimes Nick has to remind me to shut my computer off, and I do the same for him.
Definitely. I did that last night.
Yeah, totally. I was like, okay, it's time for you to stop working. But the screen, Nick calls it, you call it the screen detox. Right?
Yeah, it's called screen detox. It's big, important.
Yeah, so having those rituals definitely helps. And then watch what you eat and when you eat. That's the other one that I think is really, really important. You need to be done, like I said, you know, done eating prior to 3 hours of going to bed.
That way your metabolism, everything that's happening in your body has that minute to wind down too, right? It's not just a mental game; it's also a physical game, which is why we always talk about the mind, the body, and the spirit or the soul. It's who you are as a core. All of those things need a minute to wind down before we actually shut down.
Oh, totally. Yeah, we're not light switches, right? We're not made to just like shut off like that. Though my 11-year-old son, he seems to operate that way. It's like the moment I can stop, I'm like, hold still, and he's like, no, I can't. But that doesn't seem to last into adulthood, unfortunately.
Nope.
Watching what you eat as well.
But hey, so I know we're getting down to the wire. You mentioned it a time or so already, but I was just thinking a minute ago. I know I've offered this up before, but you know, we can talk about this all day, right? But unless we, and when I say we, I mean people, anybody who's watching and ourselves included, unless we develop that routine and that ritual we were just talking about, it's hard to make these things happen. It's hard to develop those rituals and that routine.
Oh yeah.
And I know that your biggest goal, and it's why we paired up, like it's a shared passion of ours is to help people.
Oh yeah. Well,
and selfishly, I don't know if you feel the same, but selfishly, I do it because it makes me feel good. Right.
Yeah. We talk about it all the time, man. That's
right. And so that's why we do what we do. But I'm going to be honest, because this particular topic is such it's been a struggle in my whole life. And I just thought about this a couple minutes ago. I wrote it down so I didn't forget to say it. But I would be, and I know I've done this before. I'd be willing to talk with people if they're interested in having a talk on how can I make this better for myself. Because let me tell you, game changer. Said it once already. Game changer when you get good sleep. And so like over the years, you know, it's like I kind of like cracked the code, so to speak, at least for myself. And to be honest, because I've been working with people for a long time, I've helped a lot of other people too.
Yeah. Yeah. It is so important. I mean, it makes everything easier. Your whole life really does get easier. Especially if you struggle with food decisions and stuff, you know, if we kind of circle back to some of that stuff. Yeah, it makes everything so much easier. So what are you getting at? What do you
well,
saying?
so I said it already, but like, I'll say it again. I'd be willing to talk with anybody. Yeah. Anybody who like struggles to get good sleep, or they're like, man, you know what? I get 5.5 hours of sleep and I think that's plenty, but maybe I should do something else. Maybe I should be getting a little bit more. Yeah. Because if you're running on coffee, if you're running on fumes, if you think you're getting enough sleep, you're probably not. And personally,
and Nick, you're so good at this. Like, I just want to jump in. Like, you're so good about this. Like, you've really got it like pretty well figured out, guys. Like,
yeah, Nick is. I've got a whole bunch of stuff. Even if you're just like, hey, I'm interested, but I don't want to talk to you because you're weird. That's fine. I'll just send you the stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Nick, that's a huge offer. Like, guys, that's an offer to, you know, from an expert to share some ideas for free. I mean, that's what this group is about. Yeah. But that's huge. I'm glad you're willing to do that. All right, so I want to recap here really quickly. So, not getting enough sleep, guys, screws up your brain, right? It causes cravings. It breaks down your self-control and ability to deny those cravings or to control yourself around those cravings, because that's all that's what we're made of. Yeah. Impulses.
Don't screw up the brain, get good sleep.
Yes, totally. So it also slows down your metabolism. It'll make your body create fat, literally convert your calories into fat instead of burning them. How do you get enough sleep? At least 7 hours is what we're aiming for. Changes from person to person. Don't stress on sleep. If you lose a night of sleep, you're going to be good the next day and catch up. Move your ass. Move your ass. Do not bring your work into the bedroom. Okay. Shut that down early in the evening. Establish routines and bedtime rituals. Okay. Same bedtime. Screen detox. If you've got some other things, meditation, turn the lights down.
Turn the lights down. Yep.
So those are the things. Obviously, there's a whole lot to talk about here, but I hope that gives you guys some good things to take away from this. And if you need help, we're here. Especially Nick. He just offered to talk to you, so hit him up.
Yeah.
He's on the East Coast, so don't hit him up, you know, too late if you're here in the West Coast with me.
Yeah, because I would get my beauty sleep. No, truthfully, I don't mind too much.
Okay. But yeah, really, we do like to talk with you guys, and we love it when you guys reach out, and that happens a lot, which we love. So
yeah, it's pretty cool, actually. I got
that. So yeah, we care about you guys. Please do reach out and keep doing what we love seeing you guys do, and that's lifting each other up. I think that's always my takeaway at the end of this. I really, really love that you guys do that for each other. So keep lifting each other up. I get all these messages about how great this group is and how supportive everyone is and how it's a safe place to open up. So please keep doing that for each other. Bring a friend, you know, somebody who can use that. You know, we just want to help more people in here. So please do spread the word. All right.
Agreed. I agree with all that.
All right, Nick, anything to add?
No. One more question for you. If you haven't figured it out by now, is beauty sleep a real thing? That's what I want to know. Have you got to figure it out?
So much deeper than beauty sleep, right?
It is, seriously.
Yeah. Hell yes. Hell yes, it is. Okay. All right, guys. We're out of here. Right. We'll talk to you later.
See ya.